So this is the forest level, but again, I can't remember which one this is, what it's called. So let's have a look. Silent Forest. Okay, let's get into Silent Forest. And we are back in the void with the big TV. I have a TV or a projector. I can't quite make out which one.
Eggman taught us how to make robots.
So we'll make the hedgehog a robot. Excellent plan, Master.
I'm sure you would have thought of it yourself, given time.
The one guy who has faith in Zavok having actual character. Alright, so I do remember at least part of Silent Forest being quite noticeably less tedious than the worst parts of Frozen Factory. So we'll hope that that memory is faithful. I don't remember this level being too much of a bother, so I have that to go on at least. I'm not too keen on that pop-in though. And like, to be fair, it's the 3DS, it's doing 3DS things. And like I mentioned earlier on, this is quite ambitious for a 3DS game, but we have another wisp, the Grey Quake colour power. So, the problem I have with the Grey Quake colour power, as it's being described here, it uses motion controls. And let this warning here be a sign of why I don't like the motion controls. If your 3DS seems to be behaving strangely, place it on a flat surface and wait a few moments. Now, I don't know about you, but if you have one control scheme that's been established for many years that doesn't need that kind of warning, and your new version does, I would say that maybe the new one is a downgrade from the old one. That's kind of how it feels to me, but it looks like I have to actually fight these things before I can move on. So let's try not to sneak my way past the actual game. But yeah, like the motion controls, I guess they're responsive enough. It's not like, say, the Eagle from the HD version, back how that was when the game first came out. That was an absolute disaster with the gamepad, but it's still, like, it's not ideal. It's definitely a step down from just using the pad, and yeah, the camera was not liking what I was trying to do there. But if I'm clever here, I might not need the thing. There we go. Let's work my way back. If I immediately come out of it when I use it, then I can do the stomp without risking just going flying off the edge. But I will say, in general, I'm glad that the era of motion controls being a thing everyone tries to use is over. Because, like, in some respects, there is a time and place for motion controls. Wii Sports was fucking fantastic. And there's even moments like, I will defend Black Knight's motion controls, because, like, yeah, it's not the most reliable system in the world, but using the Wiimote as a sword just kind of feels right. So I understand why they went with that, and I feel like the game does benefit from them being there. But I feel like, as a general rule of thumb, if something could be replaced with a thumbstick or an analog stick or what have you, then it probably should be. I know it was kind of like the thing of the era. You know, like the Wii was very successful and the motion controls were there front center. So, not even as a cynical thing. Like, there were people doing it cynically, but I feel like there were also developers who were trying to come up with ideas that they could use, and it just turned out that a lot of them didn't like play out as well as they would have liked. Because like, it's one of them things. There are things in the industry I am very cynical about. Things in the industry I have been conditioned to be cynical about, because usually there's some fuckery going on. But when it comes to individual developers trying to be creative, I am willing to, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt and assume they were trying to do something that just didn't pay off, you know? You know, for every great idea that comes about, there will have been like 10 terrible ideas, but you're never gonna know which one's which until you try it. Oh, shit. Oh well, at least I'm right here. I don't know why it immediately faces me the wrong way, but still. I'm gonna do the thing where I immediately come out of it again, just to be safe, and naturally I'll get shot in the fucking face, and I have no rings. So for this one, I think I'll stay in it, and get some rings first. There we go. Now, I know this thing is safer to attack with the Wisp, like in terms of being less likely to get hit, but I'd rather tank a few hits than risk rolling off the edge. Now he's going to jump up and that's going to hurt. Shockwave attack goes a little bit wider than you might expect. Now let's do this and immediately come out again. Now we go back to the... Oh no, I thought we were going back to the central hub, but that must just be this part. Never mind, I'm getting lost mentally. It's fine, it happens. Now, is that the way forward or not the way forward? Let's be careful here and maybe... Oh, go this way, that works for me. Get a free hit in on that guy. I know what's screwing me over with these. What's screwing me over with these is that you can't go back once you're in motion. So I'm instinctively like pulling the 3DS back in the same way that you would pull an analog stick back to correct yourself. But it just doesn't work. So if you start off going the wrong way, then you're going to go the wrong way. And once you're committed, there's not really much you can do about that. Oh, that really overshot that. I'm not sure what was going on there. Oh. Let's try and get rid of this guy. Now, come on, do your big jump. I'm waiting for the shockwave. Didn't mean to lock on there. Oh yeah, you're alive. I should probably do something about you first as well. Don't get me trapped under him, please. See, with these things, that's where it would have benefited me to keep the Wisp going, but I'm quite fond of not getting thrown off the edge. Okay, there we go, back to safety, and I'm gonna make sure I'm definitely facing the right direction. Here we go. But I don't want to go too fast with this. I didn't mean to miss that red ring. I'm not doing that intentionally. It's just very finicky control, let's say. Let's try and get to safety and come out. There we go. God, there was so much launching at me in one hit there. I especially don't like there being 3 of these guys right next to each other. Okay, 1 down. Now it should be a bit more manageable to do on foot. I feel like the strategy of just sort of clearing out my surroundings first is one that I've been slacking on. And that in itself has been causing me problems. I've just noticed there are so many fucking rings in this environment here. Not that that really surprises me, given everything, but you know. Alright, now we go up to the big one, and I think that's it for this level, if I recall correctly. Yeah, because that down there is the end of the level capsule. Works for me.
Hey, there's always next time.
I don't care that I got the D rank. See, that level, as far as I remember, does have a lot more intricacies to it. Like, even discounting the fact that I died partway through, there's more different things you can do. I could probably rack up a lot of enemy score if I actually bothered fighting the ones that I could just run past. But alas, this is the infamous level from Silent Forest here. Because of the grinding, there is a lot of grinding, just like the HD version has an infamous grinding level. This one also has some grinding that's maybe not the best it could be. And you know you've got a good level when the first enemies you see are the fucking Sonic 2 Metropolis Zone slicers, everyone's absolute favourite enemies ever. They're a lot less dangerous in 3D, but also with this game's camera being how it is, they are also very prone to attacking you from behind. There's a reason why some like more action-focused games, like your stylish action games, as much as I hate that term, like there's a reason why games like that tend to specifically instruct the enemies not to attack you if they're not currently on screen. I kind of wish this game did that. Like, there's too much going on at once here. That's the recurring trend. I said that during like the snowball level. I'm saying that again here. But like, just look at all the different things I have to bear in mind here that also happen to be on a small screen where if they're far away, you just won't be able to see them. Or if you do see them, they're going to be like blending together with everything else that's going on. But if I try and tackle these one thing at a time, hopefully, with any luck, I'm less likely to die. That's my plan. Whether it pays off is a different story. This is taking a lot longer than I was hoping. But I should be charging up more. I could get more hits in if I actually charge. I just sort of rush myself sometimes when I see that shit happening, because like, I'm worried that he'll jump out of his vulnerable phase and then I'll have to just do it all over again. Or I'll be vulnerable to that, like the big shockwave. And now I start the next charge. There we go. Gotta be careful here because it's a game of timing, and you can run faster than they're appearing there. That gave me a heart attack. I don't know if that was obvious. Slow down. At least you can homing attack the rails, which makes it a little bit easier to save yourself in these sections. They can crush you. That's why I'm sometimes deliberately slowing myself down, but I didn't realise that you could come off and just jump at that. Oh. This particular like half-pipe tube was a gimmick that you had, I think, once or twice in Sky Road in the HD one, except we seem to have got sections like this a lot more than just that. I'm not going to even gamble the wall running in that section, although I'm going to die anyway as I say that. Maybe playing it safe is like misleading. Maybe what you think is playing it safe isn't always playing it safe. It's like the quite infamously named Mario 64 level. Wall kicks will work also known as wall kicks, might work. Please, home in on the fucking enemy, not the boxes that aren't hurting me. Is there actually anything in these other boxes? No, there's not. There was one life. Again, that's another section where I don't think the perspective was doing it any favours, really. Yeah, I'm remembering to do the kick with the electric enemies. Kind of proud of myself for that. They are one of the big hazards that can cause problems, but yeah, no. I saw that other route there. Come on. Come on. I'd rather like to make some progress, not get stuck on walls. At this point I'm just frantically kicking anything that I might want to attack, just in case. That again wasn't locking on properly there. Charge. Thank you. These enemies have far too much health. I know that in the first level where they showed up, it was like that deliberately to encourage you to use the Wisp against them. But that Wisp isn't here right now, so we have to do it the long way, which feels like a little bit of an oversight, really. I think I can grind on, yeah, I can grind on that because I have the electric shield or the lightning shield. That's cool. Where am I? That wasn't the cool save skip that I thought it would be, and now I have to do like the actual platforming. That just sort of happens sometimes. I get cocky and then my hubris catches up with me. Okay. Lightning. Oh. I'm very uncomfortable right now. Because, in case it's not obvious, everything there is pit. Try and kill as much as I can with a Wisp before it wears out. There we go. Oh, and of course I've got another one of the turtle fuckers waiting for me. I will say, as far as the levels go, this might not be the most memorable level theme. That's not fair. I still have the slow stuff on. The slow down cues from Labyrinth, I guess. But like, it might not be the most memorable level theme because it is ultimately just forest area. But they still managed to make it look pretty nice on the 3DS here. The thing is, a lot of the more like graphical based criticisms that I have of the Wii U version more come down to the fact that they look really bland in HD. Like, it feels like there's a lot of just empty dead areas. But when it's on the 3DS, I feel like it makes better use of the 3DS's capabilities here. It's not really, like, visually speaking, there's prettier games on the 3DS, but like the style they went with, I feel it works better in this lower resolution than it does in HD. God, down I go again. But like in the HD version, I feel like a lot of the areas just look sort of empty, and the basic textures really just make that worse. But it actually holds up pretty well, I would say. But I will say this level is starting to feel a little bit repetitive because, like, we've got another one of these tunnel sections that ends with a big turtle guy, and yeah, it is suffering from one of the problems that I feel a lot of the weaker Sonic games have, where the level design ends up feeling samey after a while. It feels like the levels feel a bit padded. Similar kind of problem to, I wasn't expecting to just get pushed through the rail there, okay, because it didn't do that for me last time, that's odd. But I'm starting to feel like this is one of the Team Dark stages in Heroes, with how much it's repeating itself. That's really not that's not something you want put to your name, you know? It feels like a Team Dark stage from Heroes. Let's see if just actually fighting the turtle guy works out in my favour here. I'm a bit close for comfort, I'll say that much. Especially since one knockback and I'll be on the slowdown stuff again. And he absolutely will get 3 hits in. Like, I'm gonna get hit. It wore off just in the nick of time. I don't really need to add much commentary for this, because like, you've seen this a million times already. You sort of figured out what the deal is with him now. There we go, right. Let's try and take this route and see if it's safer. Down I go again. Now, I am absolutely bleeding lives right now, which is why it's put me in the game's baby mode with these remote control cars. Because it's just, there's so many sections where I just seem to get crushed. But what's making it worse now that I have this remote control car thing, quote unquote, helping me, is that it obscures part of the screen ahead. So it makes it harder to actually react to what's coming up in front of you. This is going to be the end and I'm going to get no score at all, isn't it? Yep, there we go. That was an embarrassing fucking run at the end there. And you should be thankful that I cut out most of those deaths. Oh, I am not doing a special save. You can go fuck yourself, game. Oh.
Something's not right.
Huh. Must have missed this one.
Sonic, it's a trap!
Tails, no! Those rotten, sneaky...
I never did like that line read from Roger. It's probably not his fault, but just the whole sneaky thing. It kind of felt a bit... It felt like it would be the sort of delivery if this were the kind of game that would use stronger language, and they just swapped it out to sneaky because obviously it's like a child-friendly game. That's kind of the impression I get from that delivery there. And now, by process of elimination, this means we have the 2D stealth section left. Well, stealth isn't quite as annoying as it is in the HD one, because it doesn't immediately kill you, like it does in that version of the game, but it's still... I would say this is probably the weakest of the levels, like, except for maybe that one part at the end of the last one, which was annoying, but like this I remember being a bit more consistently annoying. I will say that on the whole, up to this point, it feels like Silent Forest has just been an improvement over Frozen Factory, which mostly comes down to the fact that we haven't had any ice physics. That's kind of a factor with things like this. There we go, I knew I'd be able to turn around. It just, when you try to turn around like that, you have to intentionally kill your speed before you can. Which does make sense, it just feels a little bit inconsistent with how the momentum works when you're running on the ground. But yeah, I did drink an entire cup of tea between the last couple of levels, and I think I earned it after that grind rail section. I like to reward myself, give myself that little reward scheme. I will say that this music, it's got a very Jewish kind of vibe to it, which is very different to a lot of Sonic OSTs. It feels like the least Sonic-y song we've had in a little while. But it also kind of fits the general tone of the level. Like, it doesn't feel out of place here at all. These disappearing, reappearing blocks, they won't crush you, thankfully. That's a consideration that they seem to have very specifically made. That you haven't got to worry about the block spawning while you're inside it. And they absolutely could have made that a problem, so I'm very thankful that they didn't. But they're still kind of fucking fiddly, as demonstrated right now. I made it! Try and work my way around. But when those blocks are like the main obstacle, it's best not to get complacent with your speed, because some of the, they're quite inconsistent with when they appear. Some of them appear and disappear quickly, some of them don't. I'm not sure whether they actually take different amounts of time or whether it's just the particular level design in certain parts makes it feel like more of a risk or not. It could entirely be placebo, I may be wrong, but that's definitely what it feels like. It feels like some of them are more of a problem than others. Can I make it back up here at all? Nope, because there's that little lip there just to fuck me over, because of course there is. Come on. Thank you. Yeah, it's safer just to jump over them once down there. There's some pressing and there's a lot of plants, but it's not Press Garden. That wouldn't be until the better game. Of course the fucking slicer got me! I will say, like, I know Metropolis Zone is kind of the infamous level from Sonic 2. And for very good reason, solely because the enemy placement or more than any of the actual level design. But I also feel like I got a bit of Stockholm Syndrome going on from recording my Sonic Origins Plus playthrough for FC Playthroughs lately. Because for that run, I did both a story mode run and a Tails run of Sonic 2. So I had to do 2 runs of Metropolis Zone, obviously, and what am I meant to do here? There, okay. I sort of get it. But yeah, like, after a while I'm not sure what I'm actually meant to do there, because the spikes are there getting me, but let's try and work my way up here. Is this working? No, I'm just back to where I am. So let's just take the hit and try and move on. But yeah, like, I got kind of derailed there by getting trapped by them spikes. But yeah, like, Metropolis Zone, it's got a learning curve. It's definitely a hard level, but I got used to it. It's one that I would definitely recommend having Supersonic by the time you get there, though, because that will save you a lot of bullshit. I shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have got impatient. Okay, well, I made it work. One way or another. I managed to get up there. That's the important thing. I am so glad that they didn't go into electric. One thing that I did have pointed out in a comment, I want to say it was by Crazy12 Eric who said this. It was the way that the homing attack works if it's like a multi-chain is that you are vulnerable for the first thing that you hit. Like if the first thing is like in an action pose, like if it's got a attack prepped or whatever, then that one can hurt you. But you're then invincible for the later ones. Which, like from my experience, that does seem to be how it's working. It's just a very weird system that the game itself doesn't seem to communicate with you. It's one of the things that you kind of have to learn through trial and error. And I feel like in general the multi-chain system is more of a detriment than anything. That's a pit. That was definitely a pit, alright. Again, it's like Sonic Lost World in itself, in both versions of the game, they were very experimental with Sonic's core moveset. And I get that they were trying to integrate the parkour, which is its own system, and you couldn't exactly just paste that into Generations and call it a day. But it feels like every change that got made just made the experience that bit more fiddly than it really should have been. Now, this here... Fuck. I thought I was being really clever with that there. I thought I'd be able to just fire my way up with a spin dash and get up nice and easy. Turns out that the instinctive jump I did in panic kind of fucked up that idea, so let's try it again without that. There we go, that's what I was trying to do to be clever. And I thought I might have died there as well, but apparently not. Again, if I go back to what I was saying earlier on, I don't necessarily think it was a cynical idea to try the parkour. I get why on a concept level, parkour sounds like the kind of thing that just complements Sonic. You know, like the idea is there to just keep the movement going. You know, as opposed to like the boost games where you risk running into a wall and it just stops you. I sort of get in concept, it just didn't really work in execution for either version of the game.
Alright, we can work this to our advantage.
Somebody messed up royally, because we don't have Sonic.
It's the best member of the Deadly Six. All these years later, I still do quite like Zor. He's just as one-note and plain as all the others, but at least he has a funny one-note characterization.
Look at him all, I'm so fast and stuff. Ugh, makes me sick. Time to knock him down a peg.
I hate people having a good time too. But if you missed the full body motion controls that we had in the special stages, good news, they're fucking back, because of course they are. So what we need to do is we need to get ourselves into the cannon and aim at the right one. So the idea is that we use the motion controls to spin around. That's basically what he's explaining here, just with a lot more text. We need to pick the one that isn't a fake. But naturally, it would be too easy to make it control with normal controls. It's also hard to tell which one is real. They look like forks coming out of it. So where is the real one? Because they're just forks coming out of it. I'm going to have to spin all the way around, and I apologise if this is causing any kind of motion sickness or whatever. I can't actually see if that was real. That was behind me at the time. No, that wasn't real. Cool, I just wasted a cycle. Fuck it, just shoot another one. I have 1 second remaining. That's a Falk one.
This feeling is the only truth there is.
Lovely.
My only joy is
So,
enjoylessness.
it's got that V effect on his head, and it's got the not bugged up eyes. That's me tell as to which one's the real one. I'm just kind of being very careful because of the motion controls here. I don't want to pull out the cables or anything again. See, that one's got screwed up eyes, so has that one. So has that one. So has that one. So, where the f... No, I've almost done a full thing. There it is. So now he gets knocked down, and I should be able to get a good charge shot on him. No, that wasn't a charge shot. That was a wasted shot.
My only joy is enjoylessness.
Alright, let's get back in here and try that again. Okay, that looks real. Feel like it's kind of self-explanatory what's happening here.
My only joy is enjoylessness.
It's like the 4th time I've heard that line now. So I think one more hit should be able to get him, but alas, back to motion controls. Look, some of these things they're doing with the dud ones are such obvious tells. But they become less obvious when you're... There we go. When you're, like, turned around and facing behind you. There we go. That took longer than it needed to. That's one of those bosses that either takes a few seconds or takes for absolute bloody ages. Now, where's that capsule? There it is. Thank you. I don't think I pulled the cable out that time either. There might have been a bit of static or something, I'm not sure, but I'll have to review the footage after the fact.